Hey YouTube, welcome back for my update on my ultra marathon at Black Mountain Monster. On Saturday I ran the Black Mountain Monster, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a monster, it's in the mountains, and it was a lot of fun. The conditions were perfect, the weather was beautiful, it was dry, it was a little warm, but sunny blue skies and great conditions. The course was great. It's a well-run race. Here I will tell you about my day, my performance, and the things that I'll take away from this, and stay tuned for the end and I will share with you my mileage total. First of all, to describe this race, it is run on the college campus of Montreat College. In the beginning, the start and finish is right behind the track and field. Runners have the option to run a 6, a 12, or 24-hour race, and you can set up a tent and your run support right there at the finish, right there along the course. So depending on, which option a runner chooses will depend on what they put out for themselves. I've run all three, the 6, the 12, the 24-hour, but this is the first time since 2017 that I have run. So I decided to do the 12-hour option since there's been this large gap in between when I last ran it. I've also been through a midlife transition since the 7 years that I've run this race, and I didn't quite know how that was going to affect my body and my performance and so I chose just to keep it to the 12-hour since I had the long break from running an ultra marathon. Second, this race has got to be a favorite of mine for a couple different reasons. The runners are some of the most polite and considerate runners that you're ever going to come across. Everyone is kind, they're considerate, they get out of your way, they don't make anybody feel bad, and there's runners of all kinds, tall, short, soft, hard, uber fit, tattooed, old, young, skirts, you name it, you see it. I also like the courses in the woods. It's in the hills. It's dynamic. It's ever-changing. It's different every step you take. You run by railroad tracks. You run by a stream, old buildings, even an obstacle course and a zip line. So it's got a little bit of everything to distract you from that toenail that's in your shoe that's falling off slowly with each step. Third, the race director is a super guy. He hangs out all weekend, he's organizing the aid station, he's managing the timing, he's directing the music, and overall he's just keeping watch. He brings in his friends and family, they all hang out, drink beer, sit by the fire, and I learned on the Facebook group this morning that he took leftover food to work and gave it all away. So that's something that I can get behind. So thanks Mike Geyer for another fun-filled weekend. Next, for the first time ever, my partner was able to join me on this race. So I haven't been able to run this race again since 2017, and that's when we started hanging out. So this was the first time that she was able to come with me. Now, Lila does not like to run distances. I have a hard time getting her to run half marathons with me. Now, strike that. I would never make her do any half marathon or any mileage she didn't want to do. She had to sign herself up for this one, so I do not take responsibility for signing her up for this. Bottom line is she doesn't like running more than a half marathon. On this day she did, and she killed it, and I was really proud of her for doing that. She even helped me out when I was getting into a dark place in my mind and helped me battle through that. Before I get to my race total, my mileage total, let me remind you to subscribe to my channel. I love sharing my runner exploits with you and even can share my classroom exploits. I'm a high school teacher and I balance my running with my professional life, and also I hope to become a student. So part of my goal for this channel is to reach monetization, which is 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time as I crank out the videos this summer in hopes of getting monetization to help me pay for a master's degree so that I can be a better educator. So if that's an idea that you can get behind, mash that subscribe button and help me reach my goals. Also, I've put together 18-week and 24-week marathon training plans that are best suited for beginner runners, or what I call advanced beginners. These have 3-day-a-week and 4-day-a-week run options, including some cross training. So if this plan is something that you would like, if you want to run a marathon in the future, you've never done it, heck, I can even coach you up for it. So reach out to me, comment, put something in the comments if this is of interest to you, and we will get those plans to you and get you on the road and crossing the finish line by November. Back to the race. On Saturday, we woke up here at home. We decided to travel up on Saturday morning because, again, the race didn't start until 10 a.m. So we just got our final things in order. I ate breakfast. I had steel-cut oats, some strawberries, and a little bit of Greek yogurt. Since the race didn't start till later, I figured that was going to be fine. I'd have some energy. So we chose to drive up the morning of. We got on the road about 6:30 and got there around 8:30. It was an easy peasy drive. From there, we got our race bibs, we got our t-shirt, of course, and we got our tent set up, and then just kind of sat around and took in the sights. And there's lots to see. Again, we're in the mountains, and there's families, there's dogs, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I caught up with some friends from Charlotte that I didn't know were going to be at the race. We shared runner goals and race goals and caught up. At 10 a.m., the race kicked off, and after a debrief from Mike Geyer, from the race director, and we started on our way. Now, the course had changed since I'd last been there, which is not too surprising since it has been a large gap. Took some time to get used to that. Not a big deal. You're doing it over and over, so it's not like you're not going to get used to it. Lila and I ran 3 laps, and the laps are each 3.25 miles, and then we took a small break after the 3rd lap. Now, it's on the 4th lap where I started having my deep, dark, gross thoughts. This is when I was really starting to contemplate quitting. It was a little surprising to me because normally when I'm running a road marathon, that hits me about like mile 18 or so, and I know it's coming, so it wasn't a surprise. Thoughts go through my head like, what are you doing? You don't even like this. This is stupid. Nobody's supposed to be running this many miles. You're not a runner. Who do you think you are? Like, just negative self-talk. And the best thing that I could do at that point was to just stop what I was doing. So we took a break after the 4th lap, and I really was considering, should I continue on doing this? And Lila always tells me, just do what you can live with. And so as I was sitting and thinking, should I continue? I knew that I couldn't live with just 4 laps, and so ultimately I chose to continue on. It did take a bit of digging deep. So I ate a turkey sandwich, I drank a Spindrift, I felt better, and I got back on the trail. And really from that point forward, the dark thoughts did not return. So other than feeling the general body soreness, the toenail situation was definitely distracting. So I went back out and I ran a few more laps, and then Lila came back out with me. I took a longer break, regrouped, and continued on. Lila started having problems with her knees. Her knees were going to blow out, she said. They felt like they were going to explode out of her body, and that was just a little bit too graphic and disturbing. So she took a break. I took a few laps on my own, and by the time I made it back, she decided she was going to do another one. She iced her knees in the meantime, and we got back on the trail, and that was my last lap. So we walked that one. Since she had iced her knees and was ready to try another one, I said, well, just walk this one and I'll make this my last one. My big mileage reveal. I completed 32.5 miles, 10 laps. So I was really pleased with that. Yes, I was short of my goal. My goal was 50 miles. And I've begun to realize the absolute absurdity of setting that goal without my training. It was unrealistic for me to think that I could spend 9+ hours, 12 hours on my feet in motion without running a long run. I had only run 3 to 4 miles on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday maybe 6 miles since February, and that was just not a winning approach if I wanted to get higher mileage. For the 12-hour race in total, and I will leave the race results in the show description if you'd like to look for more, the winner had 61.75 miles, which is fantastic, and the top female had 55.25. Out of 77 runners that completed the 12-hour, I finished 54th. and I'm happy with that. I'm not going to compare myself to other folks. I finished where I finished. I can't change it now, but I'm really pleased with being able. Who can run 32.5 miles in a single day? Come on. After taking a 7-year break, I'm happy to have finished with the same amount of mileage that I got in 2016 when I was 8 years younger. All right, so the things that I learned from this race is that if I want to reach higher mileage outcomes, I have to do the work. So, not reaching that goal is completely on me, and I accept that. I refused to spend the time running 10, 15 miles on a Sunday, and that's what it takes. If you want to run an ultra marathon and finish with 50 to 100 miles, then you got to put in some 25, 30 mile runs on a Saturday or Sunday. Now that would take me 8 to 9 hours, and I am just not willing to do that. So is a 50 miler in my future? I would say no, at this point it's not, but I'm not going to rule it out forever. I knew the pain and suffering that my body was going to go through, but my brain, I thought that I could will myself out of that, but I was just mistaken on that. No amount of willpower prepared me for the way that my body felt at the end of 30 miles. And so again, it's completely on me. I didn't do the training, but I did do well enough to get 32.5 miles. One thing that was on point was my nutrition and my hydration, thanks to the help of Matt Dangler at RxRD Nutrition. I will leave you his website in the show description as well. We had a plan for attack. We planned it out 2 weeks in advance, and everything felt great. I didn't feel lack of energy. It was the general body soreness, the toenail situation, which really did me in for that day. So nutrition, all good. And next year, will I do this race? Yes. But if I do not seriously commit to a full-time training regimen, then I'm only going to do the 6 hour, and I will pack it in when I'm ready and feel great with what I get. If I were going to do the 6 hour, I would definitely shoot for a 24 mile goal, somewhere in there, because I run a marathon in 5 hours. But since the conditions are different on a trail run, I would expect to be able to run somewhere around 20 miles. That's all, friends. It was a great day. This week I am not running. I am taking a rest. This morning I had a massage. I went for a walk, and I'm not working out, no cross training, no running. I probably won't run again until next weekend. No, until next week, maybe Tuesday. I may run on Saturday. It doesn't sound like I'm taking much of a break, does it? But right now, just focusing on healing. My muscles are still a little bit inflamed, and I'm drinking a lot of water, and I won't race again until November, so there's really no need for me to push my limits right now. And I'm going to be building my mileage back up throughout the fall. So nothing pressing going on right now. I can take a small break. If you want to learn more about running, fitness, ultra marathons, half marathons, Disney marathons, stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel. Don't miss out. I'm going to be talking to you about my upcoming races. November, the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon, another absolute favorite, and whatever else I pick up along the way. Stay here for lessons on inspiration and motivation and Gen Xers power through.